The words "I love you" are supposed to be the three most beautiful words in the English language, aren't they? They're meant to bring comfort, joy, and a sense of security. For me, they used to. But one evening, those three little words became the heaviest, most painful sentence I'd ever uttered. My wife, Clara, and I had been married for 5 years. They were good years, or so I thought. We had built a life together, a home filled with laughter and shared dreams. We had our routines, our inside jokes, the comfortable silence that only comes with deep familiarity. I thought we were happy. I thought we were solid. I thought I knew the woman sleeping next to me every night. But I was wrong. It all started subtly. A shift in her behavior so slight I almost missed it. She started working late more often. "Big project at the office," she'd say, looking tired. I'd make her dinner, rub her shoulders, and tell her not to work so hard. She'd smile, but it wouldn't quite reach her eyes anymore. Her phone, which used to be casually left on the coffee table, was now always with her, screen down or tucked away in her purse. When it buzzed, she'd flinch, a barely perceptible tightening of her shoulders. I tried to ignore the gnawing feeling in my gut. "It's just stress," I told myself. "I need to be more supportive." So I tried harder. I planned date nights, bought her flowers, left little notes for her to find in the morning. I was trying to reconnect, to bridge a gap I didn't even understand. The breaking point came on a Tuesday. It was just a normal evening. We were on the couch watching some mindless TV show. I looked over at her, at the familiar curve of her cheek, and the way a strand of hair had fallen across her forehead. A wave of love washed over me, so strong it was almost dizzying. I leaned in, kissed her temple, and whispered, "I love you." And then I saw it. It wasn't a smile. It wasn't the loving look I was used to. For a split second her face contorted into an expression of pure, undiluted guilt. Her eyes darted away, her lips pressed into a thin line. It was gone as quickly as it came, replaced by a tight, forced smile. "I love you too, Ben," she said, but her voice was hollow. In that single, fleeting moment, the foundation of my world cracked. The gnawing feeling in my gut turned into a roaring inferno. Every late night, every guarded text, every distant look suddenly clicked into place, forming a picture I didn't want to see. She looked guilty because she was. My heart hammered against my ribs. I wanted to scream, to demand answers, to shake her until the truth came out. But I couldn't. The words were stuck in my throat, choked by a sudden, overwhelming wave of despair. I just sat there, the TV droning on, the space between us on the couch feeling like an uncrossable canyon. She looked guilty when I said, "I love you," and in that silent, horrifying instant, I finally knew why. The days that followed were a blur of fake smiles and hollow conversations. I was a ghost in my own home, watching my wife live a life that no longer fully included me. I needed proof. I couldn't confront her based on a single look, a gut feeling. I'd sound crazy. So I started paying attention. One Saturday, she said she was going out with her friend Sarah. "Girls' Day," she called it, with a brightness that felt entirely fabricated. I wished her a good time, my heart a lead weight in my chest. An hour later, an impulse I couldn't control made me call Sarah. "Hey," I said, trying to sound casual. "Is Clara with you? She left her wallet here." There was a pause. "Clara?" "No, Ben. I haven't seen her today. Is everything okay?" The world tilted on its axis. "Yeah," I mumbled. "Sorry, my mistake." I hung up, my hand shaking. Everything was not okay. My wife was a liar. But where was she? Who was she with? The questions tormented me, twisting my insides into knots. I knew I couldn't live in this state of suspense any longer. The not knowing was eating me alive. I remembered a conversation we had months ago about a new restaurant that had opened downtown, one she'd been excited to try. A sick hunch led me to get in my car and drive. I parked a block away, my breath catching in my throat as I walked toward the entrance. And there she was, sitting at a patio table bathed in the soft glow of fairy lights. She was laughing, a genuine, carefree laugh I hadn't heard in months. Across from her sat a man. He was leaning forward, his hand covering hers on the table. My coworker, Mark, the guy I'd invited over for a barbecue just last summer. I felt the air leave my lungs. The scene in front of me was so cliché it was almost comical, but the pain was shatteringly real. It was a physical blow, knocking the wind out of me, leaving me gasping on the sidewalk. I watched them for what felt like an eternity. Two people in their own little bubble, completely oblivious to the world I was building that was now crumbling around me. She looked so happy. Happier than she'd looked with me in a very long time. That was the part that hurt the most. It wasn't just a physical betrayal, it was an emotional one. She had given her laughter, her joy, her heart to someone else. I didn't confront them. I couldn't. I just turned around, walked back to my car and drove. I don't even remember the drive home. When I walked through the door, the house felt cavernous and empty. Every photo on the wall, every piece of furniture, was a monument to a lie. She came home a few hours later, humming a little tune. "Hey, honey," she said, kissing me on the cheek. "How was your night?" The hypocrisy was staggering. I just looked at her, my face a blank mask I had carefully constructed. "It was quiet," I said. "How was your day with Sarah?" I saw that flicker of guilt again, the one that started it all. But this time I wasn't confused. I was certain. "It was good," she said, avoiding my eyes. "Just what I needed." I let the silence hang in the air for a moment before I spoke, my voice devoid of all emotion. "That's funny. I spoke to Sarah. She said she hadn't seen you all day." The color drained from her face. Her fake smile dissolved, replaced by panic. She opened her mouth, but no words came out. The charade was over. "You looked guilty when I said I love you the other night," I continued, the words coming out low and steady. "And now I know why. You and Mark looked very happy together at the restaurant." The dam broke. Tears streamed down her face as she sank to the floor, a torrent of excuses and apologies spilling from her lips. But I couldn't hear them. All I could see was her face at that restaurant, laughing with him. All I could feel was the echo of that moment on the couch, when 3 simple words had exposed a devastating truth. The trust was gone, shattered into a million pieces. And I knew, with a certainty that chilled me to the bone, that our marriage was too. It's a long road to healing, but taking that first step, the step away from the lies, was the most important one I could have ever made. Thank you so much for listening to my story. If you've been through something similar, know that you are not alone, and you have the strength to get through it. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more content. See you next time.